Hey, how's it going? I'm Becky Saif. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to share with you 5 key techniques that you can use to boost your high end in your tracks and in your mix. So if it's feeling a little bit dull and you want some more clarity in there, then definitely use these techniques, and I guarantee you they will help to boost the upper frequencies of things like cymbals, your snare, your hi-hat, crashes, high synths, anything that can really have some presence, some airiness, and some brightness in those top frequencies. The only issue, though, and something to watch out for, is if you do boost those frequencies a bit too much, it can be a little bit harsh, a bit brittle for the listener, because if you imagine, it's kind of like a bit scratchy in those upper frequencies. So I have found an incredible, insane plugin that you can use to control and regain your control of those frequencies whilst boosting it at the same time using the techniques that I'm going to share with you today. So I'm going to share that plugin with you as well. But before I get into it, I just want to let you know that I do stream on Twitch 3 times a week, long form music production. So if you want to jump in there, it's twitch.tv/Becky Saif, and the link to that is below. And this question for this tutorial was actually posed by somebody in the Discord. So if you want to join the music production Discord community, the link to that is below as well. So let's jump in and I will show you how you can boost your high end. So the first thing I'm going to do is just play what I've got here. So it's a bass line and it's some percussion loops. On the master channel, I've got Span, which is a spectral analyzer. And you can see that there's some nice low end, but the upper frequencies are lacking a little bit. Okay, so the percussion, this is where we're going to look at, because obviously the bass line is in the low frequencies. So the percussion is where we want to boost the high end. The first thing you want to do is you want to add an EQ. So I have Pro Q2, I'm going to drag it onto the track. And you want to do a high shelf at around 10 to 15K. So I would say around 10K, because the older generations or those that have been in nightclubs might have hearing loss that, means that they can't hear above 15K. And so you want to do it where your majority of your audience can actually still hear it. So a nice boost at around 10 to 15K. Cool. Then technique number 2 is using saturation. So I'm going to use Saturn for this. It's a great plugin, has a multi-band feature. So if you just click the little pluses, you can bring up the multi-bands. And the multi-band also will show you what frequency it is. As you drag it, the frequency is up at the top. So if we bring this up to around 7K, bring up the drive on band 3. So I've brought up the drive, I've brought up the tone, and I've also brought up the level of that band as well. So we're boosting it dynamically. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to add distortion. So a great distortion plugin and saturation plugin is Trash 2. Another multi-band feature on this one as well. So if you activate the multi-band, we can go on to distort and we can go down to... Where should we go? Some of these are really... Let's go on to this. I don't know what it is. We're going on to band 3 and we're going to go to slight twist. Don't know, never used it. But also you do have the control here in this window. So if you want to change the shape of it, it's really nice. And the same thing like with Saturn, you can move the band up. So you're just attenuating these frequencies in the upper range. Cool, great. So we've used a EQ shelf around 10 to 15K. We've used saturation. We've used distortion. The next thing you can do is you can add an exciter. So let's go on to the exciter plugin and I'm going to do Aphex Vintage Exciter from Waves. Lovely. Okay, let's just load in a preset. Anything. There. Cool. High presence drum group. Super harsh, super harsh. All right, let's bring it back. So let's just check the spectral analyzer now. So this is the before image. Okay, so this is just the drum loop. I'm going to hold down and copy, and now I've got a spectral analyzer that exists after the processing that we've done so far. And you can see that there is a huge boost there now in the upper frequencies. And the fifth and final technique that I want to share with you is actually a technique where you give your upper frequencies some space. So if you have a lot of instruments in your upper frequencies, like I mentioned before, hi-hat, cymbals, crashes, rides, high synths, all of those things that really do have presence in the upper range, they can get quite congested up there. And in order to boost them, if you push other instruments back in the mix by low passing, which is probably the first technique that I would use, then you give space for your upper frequencies to use the previous 4 techniques that I've shared with you. So exciters, saturation, distortion, and high shelf. Use them on a couple of your tracks and then push back the rest. And then not only are you going to boost the high frequencies, but you're also going to give them space to sit in the mix. So let's just do that with these 2 percussion loops here. So this is what we have with the 2 percussion loops. I'm going to take all the processing that I've put on the group and I'm going to put it onto one of the percussion tracks. So this is the percussion track. And in order to get that to sit clearly in the mix and get those high frequencies to really push out and sit on top, we would then push back the second percussion loop. So I'm just going to grab an EQ. So EQ 8, just turn off the high pass. We're now going to low pass this drum loop. So let's play them both together and listen to it. I'm going to bypass this EQ and you're going to hear them now both together. And then I'm going to activate it. And we can check on the master. So don't be afraid to push back some of your tracks in the mix. If you're looking for some brightness and some clarity in your music, if you push back a few of the tracks and then add the first 4 techniques to the tracks that you haven't pushed back, you're going to really emphasize some clarity and give it space in your music. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you is the insane, incredible plugin that is Soothe 2. Soothe 2 is a dynamic resonance suppressor. So if you've ever seen anyone go through their tracks and they've done this, where they do an EQ boost, so they're sweeping around, trying to find those harsh resonances, and then they reverse it and do it like that. Soothe 2 is your go-to tool that does that for you. It's incredible. It really is. It really is incredible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this processing that we've done here and I'm going to bring it onto the percussion group. So it's now back on the group. I'm going to push up some of this processing so that it's really, 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 really harsh. Okay. So let's just push up the saturation. Let's push up the distortion. Cool. I think that'll be enough. Just be wary of your ears. I'm not sure what's about to come out. Cool. It's not too bad. All right, cool. So now we're going to get Soothe 2. So we go to the plugins and we get Soothe. And we drag it onto our percussion group. Okay, so flat start to reset. And now you have a blank template. It looks like an EQ. It's not an EQ. So these are the bands, the frequency bands from the lower frequencies all the way up to around 16K and even further up there as well. You can see 19K. Basically, what you do is you do a little boost here. And this is basically, you're telling that area or you're telling this plugin that this is the area that I want to control. So let's play it. We're not doing anything at the moment. We need to increase the depth. And you can hear already that it's tamed those upper frequencies, but you haven't lost the clarity in your mix. And you can attenuate using the depth, the sharpness, and the selectivity. To hear what Soothe is taking away, you just press on the delta, and now we're going to hear the frequencies and the resonances that Soothe has taken out of the mix. Okay, so let's audition before and after. So I'm going to turn off all the plugins that we've used to process these tracks. This is your before image. And this is your after image. And I'm sure you can hear just from those 5 techniques, we've managed to add clarity to the mix. And not only that, we've managed to control those harsh frequencies by using Soothe too. It's a massive improvement, and I hope you've learned something in this video. If you have, please like it and drop me a comment to let me know what you thought. And if you have any techniques yourself that you want to share, please comment below as well. I'm going to list all the techniques in the description, plus a link to Soothe 2 as well, so you can check out the plugin for yourself. And don't forget to join me on Twitch as I stream 3 times a week, twitch.tv/Becky Saif. Link to that and the Discord below in the description. And I'll see you for another video. Bye.